Let's just bring in Christopher Steele now, who formerly ran the Russia desk at MI6. Chris, thank you very much indeed for joining us to discuss this breaking news. You, of course, worked for MI6 inside Russia for a number of years before running the Russia desk at MI6. You're still very, very much informed when it comes to all things Russia-related. Did you see this coming for Yevgeny Prigozhin?
Yeah, hi, Sally. Nothing like a peaceful August afternoon in Russia. Yes, I think we absolutely saw this coming. I think that Putin's indulgence of Prigozhin, both before and in fact after the coup attempt, was big surprise. And also, I think, importantly, it was deeply unpopular amongst the security elite around Putin. One of the things that we've been aware of for some time is just how divisive a figure Prigozhin had become amongst the elite. He spent most of last autumn trying to topple the governor of St. Petersburg, which of course is Putin's hometown, Beglov, and failed, and to take over the economy there. And then we hear source reporting telling us that Nikolai Patrushev, for example, who is a very powerful figure in the regime, secretary of the Security Council, was a sworn enemy of Prigozhin. So I think that in a sense, this isn't a surprise. I think it would be a mistake to jump to the conclusion that it's an operation that was launched and authorized by Putin himself. But certainly, I think it looks as though it may well be a revenge attack by someone in the elite, possibly somebody very senior, on Prigozhin. And in fact, we had heard some weeks ago from a source that a contract had in fact been put out on Prigozhin in Russia by senior members of the business community. So I think there'll be quite a lot to play out here yet.
For anyone just joining us, you're watching the NewsHour on Sky News. We are covering this breaking news coming out of Russia that 10 people have been killed in a private jet crash north of Moscow. The Russian Civil Aviation Authority is saying that Yevgeny Prigozhin was on the passenger list. Reports also that everyone on board has been killed. Christopher Steele, this mutiny that we saw back in June, we discussed this together at the time, and it did present the greatest threat to Vladimir Putin since he came to power more than 20 years ago. There was a lot of speculation at the time that Yevgeny Prigozhin would meet an untimely end, but many also thought that he might be protected given his power and influence when it comes to the war in Ukraine. What is your take on all of that?
My take was at the time that Prigozhin thought he was indispensable to Putin because of his foreign ties and all the wealth and so on in Africa that he was controlling, much of which the elite needs to evade Western sanctions. And it looked for a while as though he was actually indispensable to Putin in that regard. But of course, I think he's been behaving quite provocatively by turning up at the Africa summit and things like this. And I just think that in Russia, these things have a habit of biting back. And yeah, as I say, it doesn't come as a surprise to me that this has happened. But I think whoever was behind it, this may be more complicated than some Putin-ordered state operation. I think we just have to wait and see.